Hello influencers and welcome to another episode of Chats with Champions, coming to you from a delightful Dublin. On this episode I have Igor Ledachovsky. Hi Igor.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Welcome. Now Igor is a master hypnosis trainer. He's the founder of Hypnosis Training Academy and someone who's created close to 100 products online, which is very impressive. So, Igor, first of all, thank you very much for coming on Chats with Champions, and just have a couple of questions for you. So,
sure.
So Igor, I've learned a lot from a couple of your products, and a lot of your products are related to influence and persuasion,
right,
and conversational hypnosis.
Of course.
What, in your eyes, or in your own words, why is influence and persuasion important?
So that's a big question.
Yeah.
Or really, in some ways, it's a small question. I think the better question would be, why wouldn't it be important? If you think about it, unless you want to live your life in isolation with no contact with other people, then every time you engage with someone, there's some kind of influence, some kind of persuasion going on. We don't necessarily see it that way. You know, if you're walking down the street and ask someone for the time, it doesn't sound like it's influence or persuasion, but really, you're doing it in a way that is going to be very likely to get the answer. You can definitely walk up to people and ask for the time in such an odd and scary way, they'll run away, right?
Yeah.
So even though we don't really appreciate it, every interaction we have with other people, when we need their cooperation, when we need some input from someone else, influence and persuasion is there. So, you know, without influence, I don't think we'd really have a society. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, very true, very true. And I suppose, do you have 3 tips for someone, like starter tips for someone that would like to be a little bit more influential?
Sure. Well, here's the first thing to recognize, and it's an important thing to recognize, which is you are already successful in a lot of ways. Because you can navigate the world, you can interact with other people, and as long as you can do that, there's a baseline there. Now, the reason I say that is because a lot of time people negate, it's called the negativity bias. They look at all the things they can't do and say, oh, look at how bad all this stuff is, and I wish I could do more of this. But they negate all the good things they already have. There's a foundation there. And any influence you want to build on the foundation you have. So ask yourself the first thing, which is, where am I already influential? Where is it already working? Even if it's in a very small scale, right? There's something that's working there. Now, if you look at that, if you look at your life, if I look at my life, if you guys look at your lives, you'll probably notice a couple of things. The first thing you'll notice is that most of the really successful influence that you've had has been almost invisible, to the point where you don't even notice yourself. And you won't even categorize it as influence. For example, most people think of influence as, I will dominate your world, you'll do what I want, and that's that, right? But really, most of the day-to-day influence processes are about negotiation. What do you want? I'll help you get what you want, and then you can help me to get what I want. That kind of influence is miles above the give me what I want and screw you approach.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely.
Right? So the first tip of it is look at where you're successful and build on that base. The second tip then is build those win-wins. Look for ways that you're already making win-wins and ask yourself, how can I generalize that idea? Because when you know that I have your best interest at heart, then it's much more likely that you'll be willing to have my best interest at heart as well, because this is how cooperation works. Does it make sense?
Yes.
The third thing is well, there's so many different principles you can come up with, I guess. But really, it's get started. If you here's the way I look at influence in the bigger scheme, the way that I guess your audience will think about, right? I.e., in those times when we have to turn it on, so to speak, right? I consider influence as a kind of a coaching process, and here's what I mean by that. I'm going to coach someone to make a good decision.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Now, this is an important way of looking at it. Why? Because if I coach you to make a good decision, it implies a couple of things. First of all, I've got to have your interest at heart. Otherwise, it's not coaching, right? It may be teaching as yet in school. You will do as I say, but coaching doesn't work that way. It's what do you want? Let's see if we can build that up. Okay. The other reason it's coaching to make a good decision, right, is anytime you do something, you've got to decide to do it. So there's a decision involved, right? So what makes a good decision? most of the time when we're getting frustrated that someone can't really see the value of what's going on,
Yeah.
really what we're saying is you're making a bad decision. Now you can't say that to someone because that's kind of insulting and then that's anti-influence in some ways, right?
Yeah.
But think to yourself, why is this a good decision for someone? What is it for them that if they don't make this decision, they'll miss out on? And if they do make the decision, they'll gain from that. Thinking in these terms, then you can use some. I mean, there's lots of different tools you can use. So I'm not going to go into that now because it's just we could spend weeks doing that part, right?
Of course.
But the foundation is there. Whatever tools you have at your disposal, you can then bring to bear to helping the other person make that good decision. If they make a decision in the opposite direction of what you would like them to decide, then one of two things have happened, and I can only think of two things that can have happened.
Yeah.
Number one, you didn't do your part well enough. In other words, you didn't help them to reach a good decision. You didn't help them to understand the full lay of the land and realize that this is actually a good decision for them, right?
Yeah.
The other possibility is that it's not a good decision for them. In other words, you've helped them make a good decision, and the good decision that they've made is what you're offering me is not right for me, right? And you've got to be okay with that. If you're going to be a really good influencer, you've got to be okay with the idea that what you have to offer is not for everyone. There is no one size fits all, right? And here's the crazy part. I did this some years ago. I taught a seminar, and there was it sounds almost corny, but there was a used car salesman in the room, right? A really nice guy, by the way, right?
Yeah.
And he's asking this whole thing: how do I sell more cars and so on? So I recommended to him to fire his clients. In other words, send his clients to another car dealer. He thought it was a crazy idea, right? And it sounds like a crazy idea. I get that, but just hear me out on this one, right? The framework around this was talk to them, find out what they need. If you think you can serve that, then great, go ahead and do the sale. If you don't think you can do that, don't try and do the sale. Show them where they'll find a better deal. And now that's the bit that he was scared by.
Yeah.
But then a couple of years later, he came back to another seminar, and he was ecstatic. And here's why. When he sent people somewhere else, a couple of things happened, right? Sometimes the other dealer didn't have the deal anymore that he was thinking about. And then that person went, all right, who do I trust in this field? It's the guy who had my best interests at heart. And they came right back and bought the second best car from him, right? The other thing that happened was, much more commonly by the way, is although they went off and bought a car somewhere else, they sent all their friends, all their family, said, go talk to him. He's going to help you make a good deal, right? So a lot of times people are myopic. They see influence as a small thing, one transaction at a time.
Yes.
And maybe that's the fourth tip if we're going to have more than three, right?
That's fine.
And that
Take
is
what I can get.
see the influence process as a history, a whole wide range of things, which means I might take a hit in this moment, but of the longer relationship, it's going to more than balance out in my favor, right?
Yes.
And when I say my favor, I don't mean that it's at your detriment. I mean, even though I might miss on one transaction, over the course of all the transactions we'll make, because you trust me, because you know I've got your best interest at heart, you're going to give me more business. You're going to hang out with me more. You're going to do whatever I want to do more. The thing that really, really, really gets people stuck is when the one transaction is do or die. Then you're screwed, because then you get needy, you get greedy, you get pushy, you get all sleazy, you get all these EDs that you don't really want to have, right? And it destroys the influence process. It actually creates anti-influence. Does that kind of make sense?
Completely. Well, thank you. That's we got an extra bonus tip over there. That's pretty awesome. We will see you on another episode.
You saw I didn't wake up on time. Why don't you come wake me up, dude?
I heard your alarm about an hour ago, but I thought you were just taking one of your extra long, happy showers.
Whatever, man. Look, you know it's an important day for me, alright? I haven't had a job interview in months. Please help me pick out something to wear.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously!
Wear this one.
I wore that last week.
Wear this one.
That's for special occasions.
Okay, wear this one.
That one? Come on, dude.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, why don't you wear a different colored conduro?
Don't you remember what happened last time?
Ang ibig sabihin ng kakaibang kulay niya, special siya. O ito, barya. Tapon mo, tapos humiling ka.
Tiki po, itahin.
I had to wear an eye patch for a whole week. Everyone always assumed I'm on my way to a fancy dress party.
Okay. Do you have a lucky condoro?
Lucky Kendo? Of course. Yeah, man. I'll just wear that. I need a job soon, man. I like living here with you, closer to the city and everything. Besides, my parents, they still treat me like a kid when I'm at home.
Open up! The plane needs somewhere to land.
This recession is killing me. There are literally no jobs going in the market. The problem is, when you do go for an interview, the people there are so qualified, you don't stand a chance. My cousin applied for McDonald's, and at his interview, they had 5 all-star chefs, 3 biochemical engineers, 2 nutrition analysts, 4 clown Ronald McDonald lookalikes, and that guy that filmed Super Size Me.
So I take it your cousin didn't get the job?
No, man. Finding a job in this economy is harder than finding Hamed at the men's section of a local wedding. Hamed! Hamed from the UAE! Hamed from Dubai! Hamed from the Black Group! Damn it!
You know, the trick is to learn their last names.
I know. Okay, I'm good to go, man. Wish me luck.
All right, man.
Sir, as I said, nobody goes in without the pass.
I've just
Nobody
walked up
goes
all
through.
these stairs.
I understand, sir.
No, you don't understand.
I will
I've had to
do.
come this way because the elevators aren't working.
I'm just doing my job.
No, you're not
sir.
doing it. You're being a pain. Now let me go.
I'm sorry, I just missed.
I'm here for the interview.
Oh, hi, that's great. Okay, we're running a little behind schedule at the moment, so take this and fill it out, and then you can wait inside until we call you.
Does she use a razor or a lawnmower?
Okay, thanks.
Sir, drinking tea, coffee?
Green tea, please.
And madam, I can get you something?
Coffee, black.
And sir?
Tea with milk.
Sir, water, if you don't mind.
Mafi mushkil.
That's an impressive looking portfolio. Is that all your work in the UAE?
Yeah, I cut it down so I could just show the highlights of the last month, but I have my digital portfolio on my iPad.
Sir, please.
I asked for green tea.
अरे बाप रे ये क्या मुसीबत है यार?
What? Foreigners.
Can he even say that when he himself is a foreigner?
Please take.
I asked for black coffee.
Coming, going.
What's wrong with these people?
Sir, please.
Tea with milk.
अरे same but different, huh? Sir.
So, what did you used to do?
Well, you see, I left BMW to join MBD after getting my PhD from LSE. I used to manage PPC and then moved to SEO. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the ROI.
What about you?
Huh? Well, I used to watch VHS back on my JVC, at the time of BMX, of course. Then I moved to watching MTV while eating KFC. But if people ask, I usually say it was CNN.
So, why did you leave your last job?
So it's true. The company is downsizing. I've just had a baby. If I lose this, I'll probably have to move back to the UK.
Be positive, man. Just because the company's downsizing doesn't mean you're gonna lose your job.
Come on, man, wake up. There's only you and me doing this job. There's not enough work for two of us. There's not enough work for one of us. I need a job to have a visa. I need a visa to even be here. I'm sorry, man. I'm stressed. And I'm a realist. You're a local. You work hard. You're great at your job. And you speak both English and Arabic. It's a no-brainer. I'd pick you. You deserve it. I'm so happy to be starting a family. I wouldn't trade that for the world, but the timing, the timing. I am so screwed.
Let's do this.
Green tea, sir?
What's wrong with you, my friend? Can you not see it's hot?
Coffee, madam?
Seriously? You bring it now?
It's like 50 degrees.
Please, sir, you take.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excuse me, everyone.
Can I braid your mustache?
I'm really sorry to tell you this, but as you can see, the electricity is cut out and it's not the best environment to do an interview in. This is both for your benefit and ours. I'm really sorry. We waited for it to come back on, but no luck. We will be rescheduling something for next week.
Oh, please, no need, sir, please. Huh?
No, that's okay, man. No problem.
Oh no, I forgot about you. I've just locked the door behind everyone else. I'll tell you what, come with me and wait in another room while I go and get the key.
Sir, I can get you anything?
Oh, no. Thank you.
Not even a job? What? You're gonna have to forgive my little play acting. But you know, what I find nowadays, everyone has the basic qualifications. What they lack is character. And there's nothing that brings out character like a heated interview.
So the electricity didn't fail?
You, my friend, have character. And what's more, is that your ex-boss spoke very highly of you. He knows exactly what you did to help your colleague. What's more is you were very respectful towards me and my sister. And this makes me think that you're going to be respectful towards my customers. Salha, you've met my sister, I believe?
Hello.
Oh, wow.
You guys are brother and sister.
You are single, I take it?
Oh, no. My parents want me to marry my cousin. You know how it is.
Yes, I know exactly how it is. Listen, about the job. You can start a week from now.
I don't know what to say. I'm speechless.
Say yes to the offer.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to working with you.
Well, what you been up to the last couple of months?
Oh, same old. Getting up, going to work, playing with the kids.
Okay. Yeah.
I broke a world record last month.
You what?
Broke a world record.
It's in a world record.
A world record. Per
Like-
Guinness World Records, yeah.
Guinness World Book. That one, the big, the proper one.
That's
You're not,
right.
Not like,
Yeah.
not like on your Nintendo.
No.
World record
World record.
in the last couple of months.
Last month.
Hello, influencers, and welcome to another episode of Chats with Champions. On this episode, I have my man Andrew Fisher. Andrew, welcome. Welcome to Chats with Champions. Andrew has just broken the world record for the fastest time to fly around the world on commercial
on
flights.
scheduled flights, that's right. Yeah.
That's right. So, but first of all, Andrew, do you want to tell us a little bit about this this world record?
Yeah, sure. So it's something which I've been looking at for about 20 years, since I was about, it was a teenager. It was a passion of mine to look at airline timetables, route networks, fleet plans, and then I came across the Guinness Book of World Records when I was about 17.
Wow.
And I saw that there was this record in there for the fastest circumnavigation on scheduled flights using interval points or approximate interval points, and I thought, wow, I might be able to have a crack at this. So I did actually manage to find a way then to break the world record. But as a
This is 20
20
years ago.
20 years ago. But as a teenager, I didn't have the funding to do it.
Yeah.
I found another opportunity when I started my professional career, and unfortunately, the last sector, or one of the sectors anyway, in the attempt got dropped by one of the carriers.
Wow.
So I couldn't do it just before it happened just before I started. So this is the third attempt. Yeah. Third
attempt.
Actually, let me rephrase it. It's the first attempt, but the third time I've
the third time that you thought about it seriously.
That's right. Yeah.
And in 20 years, that's
20 years.
That's
right.
amazing. I mean, this has been a passion for such a long time.
It has, much to the, I was the butt of most jokes with family and friends growing up, looking at timetables and stuff, and it's my bedtime reading.
Wow.
When my friends or family went away overseas somewhere, they say, what kind of souvenir would you like? I just give me the airline timetable that you flew on, or the in-flight magazine, or something like that. That was, so this record has existed since, I think, the early 90s, and so when I first got my the first book of world records when I was about 17, the record stood at around 68 hours, and used 7 sectors to circumnavigate the Earth.
Yes.
And I remember at the time coming up with a way to get it down to around 65 hours. But now, with obviously the advent of new aircraft, make it easier for airlines to launch new network routes and additional frequencies and stuff like that. It means that the connections are a lot better, and I was able to do this attempt in 4 sectors, just using 4 flights, and got the record down to now 52 hours and 34 minutes.
So do you want to tell us how much work went into this in terms of the research that you put in?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me after I came off my last flight, how did I feel, and I must be exhausted. The actual attempt of the record itself was quite good. It went very smoothly. The preparations took a long time, and also the gathering all the data and evidence and so forth to meet the requirements of Guinness thereafter also took a long time as well. So to your question, the first thing that you have to do is identify what they call interpretal points, which means 2 places which are on the pretty much exact opposite sides of the Earth. And given that the world is around 2/3 water and desert and so forth, there are really not that many true city pairs that you can look to target for this kind of record. And the one I settled on, or the pair that I settled on, was Shanghai and Buenos Aires. So essentially, if you drilled a hole through Shanghai, you'd come out pretty much to Buenos Aires on the other side of the world. So that was the key parameter. So that was the first step. I identified which one of the city pairs I want to try and target, and then it was just trawling through all the flights departing each city, not just Shanghai and Buenos Aires, but the intermediary points. So I looked at Auckland, I looked at Sydney, I looked at on the other side going up into Europe, different points in Europe from Buenos Aires, and came out with this routing, which meant that it was possible to do it in 4 sectors. So I went from Shanghai to Auckland, had about 2 hours in Auckland, then went on to Buenos Aires. That was the tightest connection, 50 minutes. Up to Amsterdam, had 2.5 hours in Amsterdam, and then back to Shanghai.
It's been a passion and a long-term goal that's quite large. What tips would you have for people that either have or would like to achieve something big in this in the world, in their lives?
Well, first of all, I'd say I think everybody has a passion about something.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, most of the time. And it gives you something to aspire to and get excited about. And I would never have thought that my passion for for aviation would well, firstly A, lead to a profession, but also B, lead to a world record. And so that was my passion when I was growing up. I loved studying about airlines, looking at where they flew, how often, what flights, what aircraft they used, how they hooked up their schedules to connect different parts of the world, things like that. So I had a real interest in that for whatever reason. And there's an opportunity to be able to break a world record by using that kind of knowledge and applying it. So number one, obviously, just focus on something which you enjoy doing. There's obviously a way or a path to be able to get to the top of whatever that is.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'd say, don't be shy as much as you might be teased or whatever. Don't be shy to share it with your friends and family and get them also happy for you and motivated for you. And then thirdly, and probably the most important thing, is just never give up, because there's always going to be opportunities. Make sure you exhaust every kind of opportunity you can think of. Talk to other people about your dream, about your passion, because they might be able to give you some good ideas as well on how to optimize your world record attempt or whatever it is.
How recent was this world record?
It's about 6 weeks now. It was
6 weeks ago. Wow. Well, congratulations on breaking this world record and achieving a lifelong dream. Very, very happy for you, and thank you for coming on to Chats with Champions. And
thanks, mate.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. All right, cheers.
What allowed us to even exist and continue to evolve and transform is the nature of how we create connection. And charisma is just the art of creating deeper and more intimate connections quicker.
Hello influencers, and welcome to another episode of Chats with Champions. On this episode, I have my man, Johnny Dupree. How you doing, buddy?
Pleasure.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Now, Johnny, check this out, first of all, he's an executive coach. He's a charisma trainer and peak performance specialist. I'm very excited because I am very into my charisma. So, Johnny, tell me, why is charisma important?
For me, I think that one of the most important things that as humanity developed and evolved itself as a species over the years, one of the things that allowed us to even live as an animal was the connections that we built inside of tribes, villages, as a species, civilization, society. Yeah. So for me, what allowed us to even exist and continue to evolve and transform is the nature of how we create connection. And charisma is just the art of creating deeper and more intimate connections quicker.
Cool. And what would you just say to a person that believes that a person is born charismatic?
I would say that fields like social dynamics and sociology wouldn't exist if that were true.
Yeah.
I think that for me, having witnessed and seen a great many individuals, including myself, I started off as a super nerd, believe it or not, into Dungeons and Dragons, comic books, played video games all day long.
I'm there with you, man, by the way.
Definitely didn't even have a familiarity with like women and being able to create those kinds of intimate connections until well beyond my teenage years.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think my own transformation has given me more than enough experiences for me to say that charisma can be learned and can be taught.
Yeah.
But I would say more than 200 people that I've trained over the last 10 years is sort of a testament within itself.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It was a leading question. I know because I wasn't always this handsome.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, I know. So, what 3 tips would you have to someone that was that's interested in becoming a bit more charismatic, a bit more charming? Well,
okay, number one, I would say to start with picking a couple of role models of individuals that you've connected with in your lifetime, whether it's a friend, a family member, an employer, a boss. A lot of people have CEOs and CFOs that work at their companies that have learned to master charisma in order for them to run a company. So the first thing is to pick a role model or role models that really embody the kinds of characteristics and traits of the kind of charismatic individual they want to be.
Okay.
That way you have an example that you can constantly check in with along the way in your own journey to compare yourself to. Secondly, I would say that it's really important to pick up books. To actually learn the wisdom of individuals that are both alive and dead who specialize in this field.
Yes.
So whether we're talking about how to win friends and influence people, of course, a seminal book, classic book, Dale Carnegie is a fabulous thing. And Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill has a lot of really beautiful concepts in it around this. So really tapping into what we already have around the wisdom and education of this topic. The third thing, and this is the one that most people actually miss, is show up. Which is, you actually have to go out. You actually have to show up. You actually have to give yourself the opportunity to practice the skill sets and fail in a beautiful way in order to gather all of the real learnings and the real lessons that allow people to change over time.
Wow, that's amazing. So, and Johnny, if people want some more information about you, where can they go?
They can actually email me at Johnny, that's JONNY, at processyourpotential.com, or they can check out processyourpotential.com for some more information about what I do.
Awesome. Okay, well, Johnny, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
It's been an honor, buddy.
A pleasure.
And I will see you on another episode. Hello influencers, and welcome to another episode of Chats with Champions. I'm very excited because today I have my man, Ruben West. Ruben, welcome onto the show, Chats with Champions. Ruben is, first of all, he's a phenomenal speaker. From hearing him speak, he is absolutely amazing. He's the founder of Black Belt Speakers and the mind behind Signature Speaking Styles.
That's correct.
So first of all, Ruben, would you mind sharing what is the Signature Speaking Styles?
Absolutely. So what I've found is that Munir people have a particular way that they speak.
Yeah.
It's like having a personality type.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when people say to me, Ruben, it's hard for me to speak, or it's hard to get my message out, and I'll say, what's hard about it? And what they'll do is they'll tell me somebody that they love to hear speak, and they'll say, I don't sound like them. First of all, speaking is a projection of who you are. You can't be them. And nothing is more disheartening to see someone on stage, you say, man, they're amazing, and then you meet them afterwards and you're like, who is this person? Right?
Yeah.
And here's why. You cannot consistently be who you are not. It doesn't work. So signature speaking styles, what I've found in studying speakers is that there's 5 speaking styles. Now, this is a generic style. This is generic, but basically they fall in one of 5 categories. They're a scientist, they're a drill sergeant, they're a motivator, they're a comedian, or they're heart-centered.
Okay.
And so by understanding who they are before they start to speak, number one, we know where they're going to come from, and we can help them master that. But number 2, there's other people in the audience. So if you're a drill sergeant, that's great, and the people that are in the audience that communicate with drill sergeants well, they're going to love you. The other people are not. So by understanding who you are, you also understand who you are not, and then what we do is we help you build things into the presentation to connect with everyone in the audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so what sort of tips would you have for someone watching this video that is getting into speaking, getting their message out, and wants to either discover their speaking style or become more effective?
So for a couple of things I'm going to say. Number one is probably get some help.
Yeah.
You know, if you wanted to go to medical school, you'd probably get some training. You'd probably study with somebody. If you wanted to become an attorney, my program is called Black Belt Speakers. I'm a 7th degree black belt, but I got help. I studied with other masters that helped me get to that level. So the first thing is you can't do it by yourself. And even if you could, you're going to get there a lot faster by learning from someone who's already been there. I have a philosophy that I learned from my mentor. Don't teach what you don't know, and don't lead where you won't go. So find somebody that can help you. The other thing is, take the assessment. My signature speaking style assessment is free. I'd let them just take the assessment so they can understand what is my foundation. And then when you know who you are, you speak from that place. I can't sound like you. You know, and you can't sound like me, and you don't want to. Look how good looking you are. You know, right? And so what you're going to say is, I'm going to be me. When I get on stage, I'm going to be me, and that's critical because you talk about speaking, and I've spoken on some stages with some big names. My mentor is Les Brown. He's one of the top 5 speakers in the world, and the first time he invited me to speak, I was up after him, and I was thinking, how do you follow a guy who's one of the top 5 speakers in the world? He's spoken at Harvard. He's won an Emmy for his presentation program. And how do you follow that guy? And you know how you follow? You just be yourself, because the one thing he can't do is be me, is be you, is be you. Yeah.
That's awesome. And how are you enjoying Oman, by the way?
This is amazing. Let me tell you. Just the people, just the atmosphere, the scenery. What I love about it after coming from Dubai is it has a different look. Dubai is very business.
Yes.
It's very kind of metropolitan, if you will. A lot of buildings, a lot of action, a lot of movement. But Oman is more laid back. There's different scenery. There's mountains. There's just different things that you can see and appreciate. And so while I loved Dubai, this is a completely different experience, and I love it. And one other thing I'll say is the pool. I was just out at the pool, and it's beautiful. Now it's a little too hot for me. I just took pictures
you and me,
of it.
We were white before we got this tan, right?
I just took pictures of it, and I'll go back and show everybody. But it's a little bit too hot for me to be out there. But what I can appreciate is that, I saw the guys out washing the windows. And I thought to myself, everything I do, I look at it from a speaker's mindset. And what I got from that is that we all have a job to do. And all of our jobs have to be done in different conditions. And sometimes you're going to have to do it, and it's going to be hot. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. You're not going to want to do it. You're not going to feel like it. It isn't going to be easy. Check this out. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But you don't see them complaining. You don't see them arguing. You know what you see them doing? Doing their job. You have a job to do. And if you feel like you're supposed to speak, you're supposed to train, you're supposed to start a business, whatever it is, you're going to have to do it. Will it be hard some days? Absolutely. Will it be difficult some days? Absolutely. But it's not hard to stop you. It's hard to bring out the best in you. I believe that sometimes we're given the advantage of disadvantage. I don't know if you ever watch boxing.
Yeah.
But they have heavyweight champions. And I studied the heavyweight champions, and you know what I found out? Not one of the heavyweight champions grew up rich. Most of them grew up at a disadvantage. And that disadvantage they decided to turn and use to their advantage. They said, wait a minute, I'm going to get out of this situation. Wait a minute, I'll fight my way to the top. If I got to go to the gym every single day, I'm going to the gym. Muhammad Ali said, I hated every moment in the gym, but I said, suffer now and live the rest of my life as a champion. Regardless of what you're going through right now, suffer now and then live the rest of your life as a champion.
Amazing. And one final question for you. What tips would you have for someone that imparts knowledge onto others, and in terms of speaking from the heart or speaking in the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great question, and I think what you're asking is if you're a spontaneous or extemporaneous speaker, just off the top of your head, what tips? You know, the best tip I could use is that people understand at the level that they're capable, and the best level that we're capable is through metaphors. You know, and so you really have to have the ability to explain something, and sometimes breaking down a complex thought can be difficult because you're speaking to a whole bunch of different people. But if you said, it's like, that's a metaphor. They use them in the Bible, they use them everyday language, they use them in businesses to help people understand this is what we're going for, this might be where we're at, but this is what we're going for. And if you can use a metaphor to break it down to a concept where a kid can understand it, your crowd's gonna love you.
Amazing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, Ruben, thank you very much for being on today. There's some amazing pearls of wisdom helping you to become a better speaker, to spread goodwill, to get your word out there, and to get your services out there. So go out and make an impact. Ruben, thanks again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hello influencers, and welcome to another episode of Chats with Champions. I am here today with my man Elisha Hong. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you, man?
Good.
Thank
All
you
right.
for having me here.
Yeah, well, it's really exciting having you here, man.
Yeah.
We're in Oman,
right?
And we've just had been seeing a lot of Oman. It's been pretty awesome, right?
And we're right here. You can pretty see the whole Oman.
Yeah. So we got a great view up here. Elisha is a funnel expert, a digital marketer. He makes technology simple, which is something that I love, obviously. And he's managed 7-figure businesses online. So, and that must be awesome. I mean, the experience that you've done. So tell us a little bit more about some of your experience.
Absolutely. So again, my name is Elisha. You can call me Eli.
Okay.
Yeah, just want to make that simple.
Yeah.
And essentially, I've worked with a lot of online businesses.
Yeah.
Many of it recurring actually every month.
Yeah.
And I realized that the secret to generating income online is not by creating a lot of websites, but actually creating systems for one particular product.
Okay.
And then you go all in and launch it to make it successful.
Okay.
So there's a myth when a lot of people are like, hey, you need to have a lot of websites.
Yes.
You need to have multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to focus on one thing.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be really complicated. It just has to be. You can even use a template, and as long as you have the right market to message match, right? The right offer to the right target audience, and the right technology to just get it running automatically.
All right.
There you go. You would have a 7-figure business.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, I think I speak to a lot of people, coaches, therapists, doing a lot of my training.
Nice.
And a lot of them have got the message, the market, but they struggle on the technology aspect,
yes,
right?
yes.
So, what 3 tips would you have to someone that is starting out, that feels, that feels that they're not technical, but understands that they need to have it? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, the good news is we're living in 2017. All right, and we are using WordPress. WordPress is something that I use, and nowadays they come with really useful plugins that are all what we call drag and drop themes.
Yes.
All right, and these plugins, it's just a matter of activating, installing it very quickly. All these templates just kind of load up.
Yeah.
And one of the plugins that I use, and in fact I understand you use it too.
Yes.
It's actually Thrive Content Builder, right?
Yes.
By Thrive Themes, and I love using your themes because not only you just pay once, and you can just install it very quickly, and the templates are there, and it's conversion-based templates.
Yes.
Right. So drag and drop. It's like using Word document.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then just type your headline, put a video. It's like really easy.
Yeah.
So that would be like the first tip. The second tip is to not go and get so many tools out there, right? If you got Thrive, you don't want to go, with other, brands.
Okay. Yes,
because, there's a learning curve to everything.
Yes.
And the myth is, let me get all these tools. It's like the gold mine rush, where people are buying shovels.
Yeah.
And then the software companies are actually selling you shovels, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need a bazillion shovels.
Yeah.
You just need one, and go dig your gold for that one.
Yes.
All right.
That's right.
And I think finally, it's just a matter of staying focused. I say F stands for focus, O stands for on, one course, right?
Yeah.
C course, U until S success.
So one of the analogies that I like to use when people come to me and they say that I'm not technical, and I say, look, I'm not a magician. And then I show them a trick that I actually bought in a kid's store, right?
Right.
It's a very simple trick. It's a pen that has a attachable magnetic end.
Right.
And I say to them that I'm not a magician, but I can do magic because I bought the right tools that do the work for me.
That's right.
And then I had someone that showed me how to do it.
Cool. Yeah.
And so I think that's a great analogy that you could possibly use as well. I think you've used that in your experience as well.
And honestly, my background is actually in film. All right.
Wow.
I'm a very artistically inclined person.
That's amazing.
And I was faced with a situation where I'm not a programmer.
Yes.
I'm not a designer.
Yeah.
Nowhere near all that. So what does a filmmaker have to do, when you want to build something online to generate income?
Yeah.
That's for another story, which we could do another interview.
We can do
But
another
the
one.
idea is because, I was on a losing end if I didn't know how to program. So I found all these tools out there that make things a lot simpler. So there's no excuse for anyone who want to get started, right? And that's the point I want to drive across is, I'm not technical at all. I am not technical.
Yeah.
It's just that I acquired that over a period of practice and consistency.
Yeah.
All right. And it's like going to your Gmail account, right? If you logged into your Gmail account 100 times, you would know how to use your Gmail account. You know where the inbox is, you know where the compose is, stuff like that. It's the same thing. You just need to log in and get familiar with the tool, right? If you know how to hold a shovel, you hold it one day, you might not really know how to hold it, but 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, you'll be shoveling like a pro. So likewise, it's just like a dashboard, right? You get familiar with it, drive it. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
you
like
that? Cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, Eli, thank you very much for joining us today. This is Eli and Munir coming at you from Oman. It's about sunset right now. We will catch you on a future video.
Hello influencers, in this video we are going to be talking about hypnosis.
Sleep.
We are going to be covering the following things. What is hypnosis? How hypnosis works? And how you can use it to change your life. Before you intently follow along today, and I guide you as we uncover this amazing world of your mind, I have a quick question for you. If there's so many books about weight loss, why isn't everyone skinny? Is it because the techniques don't work? No. There are many techniques that work, right? But success can't be achieved unless you address the most important part, your mind. So as you watch this video and as we explore this amazing world of the power of your mind, I just want to let you know it really excites me to be sharing knowledge that powerfully transforms lives. So what is hypnosis? Well, hypnosis is a very natural state. We all experience it pretty much on a daily basis to a certain extent. You see, it's a focused state of attention where all our attention is focused on one thing. So when you go to the cinema, you stop noticing all those people around you and you become focused on the screen.
Brace yourself.
So people think that, to an extent, they think that, oh, you know what, I haven't been hypnotized before. But that's like saying, you know what, I haven't been to the gym before. When you are carrying shopping bags to your car on a daily basis. The difference with going to the gym and carrying shopping bags to your car is that when you go to the gym, you just do these natural things that you do on a daily basis in a more concentrated effort, in a concentrated time. And that's the same with hypnosis. All we're doing is taking these natural things that you do every day and concentrating it a little bit more to get a bigger result. And we use that to achieve certain outcome. So ultimately you have two parts of your mind. You have your conscious mind, which is the part of your mind you're most aware of. It's a little bit like an iceberg. The conscious mind, or the tip of the iceberg, is the part that we see, that we're more aware of, that we realize a lot more.
It is estimated most human beings only use 10% of their brain's capacity. Imagine if we could access 100%.
However, there is the subconscious mind, or your unconscious. And that is the huge part that lies beneath the surface. Just like an iceberg, 90% of it is under the surface. Conscious, subconscious. Subconscious is bigger. And here's the thing. You do so many things on autopilot without thinking about them. Your breathing, for example, you don't think about breathing. If you are eating, you don't tell your hand to change all the different muscles that it takes to move that fork up to your mouth. All of these are handled by your subconscious mind, your autopilot. And hypnosis is just simply the art or the science of connecting and speaking to your subconscious mind. Now, your conscious mind is responsible for the thinking part of your mind. It's the let me question things, let me calculate things. This is where we house our willpower, where we talk to ourselves, etc. Okay, where we do calculations. Now, the subconscious mind is much more powerful because that is where we have our senses. So your sight, sound, feelings, it has emotions, it has your memories, it has your habits, it has your beliefs, and it has your autopilot system. So your subconscious mind is much, much more powerful. Long story short, our subconscious mind, or our unconscious, is so much more powerful, so much more. However, sometimes our conscious mind and our subconscious mind don't necessarily agree. You see, at a conscious level, we may say to ourselves, I want to lose weight, I really want to lose weight. But our subconscious, which houses our habits, our memories, our belief system, and if our beliefs and our memories and our habits say, we love cake, then your unconscious and your conscious mind are not agreeing. Okay? So, this is why hypnotherapy is powerful, because hypnotherapy is simply the art and science of talking to your subconscious mind. So if you want something consciously, we can feed that to your subconscious and align the two to help you achieve whatever it is that you want and whatever it is that you desire. So we can align your conscious and subconscious mind. And that is very powerful, because when you have this brain and this brain all aligned at achieving the same outcome, whoo, sky's the limit. So what can hypnotherapy in particular be used for? So there are many common uses. You can use it to lose weight. You can use it to overcome a fear or a phobia. For example, if you have a fear of spiders, you can use it to stop smoking. You can use it to manage stress or anxiety, increase your self-confidence, manage pain, help with your sleep, change bad habits, or be the best that you can be. You can improve performance on tasks, in sports, in concentration, in learning. There are so many uses, because they all have to do with the power of your mind and aligning the power of your mind. So a lot of uses, and your mind is used for so many different things. And before you begin to find all your own reasons of how this will benefit you, I'm not sure which ones will resonate most with you, but as that's happening, I want you to consider these questions. What area of your life would you like to improve? How easily would you be able to achieve your goals if your autopilot brain was set to naturally and easily achieve them? How important are these goals to you? And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, because that is part of the process of finding the right person you can work with. Thank you, and I'll catch you in another video. Hey everyone, welcome to this video. I am filming to you from Orlando, Florida, where I am at Universal Studios theme park, and I am getting back in touch with my childhood. I am going to a theme park and I'm gonna ride on a lot of rides, so I'm very excited. The cool thing is, I think that most people should get in touch with their childhood a little bit more, and here's why. Because when we were young, when we were children, we were probably tougher than we are now. That's because right now, too many of us know that it's easy to fail and we can give up too easily. But think about it. When you were growing up, you were a winner. You were a winner because you saw people crawling, you decided, I'm gonna crawl. You made mistakes, but you tried until you succeeded. You saw people walking, you thought, you know what, I'm gonna do that. And you fell again, but you kept going until you started walking. Then, most likely, decided, I want to read. Or someone told you you want to read, like, you know, a parent or something. But at one point, you didn't know the difference between letters. What was a D and what was a B? You know, what's the difference between them? And then all of a sudden, you've made mistakes,
but then you started to learn to differentiate the letters. You started to learn how to spell words. Then you made those words into sentences, then sentences into paragraphs, and paragraphs into wonderful stories. The point is, you were a winner because you didn't know what the meaning of failure was. You were willing to make it happen because you would do it until you succeeded. And that's why sometimes it's good to get in touch with your childhood, because when you were a child, you didn't know there was such a thing as failure. You just knew that I gotta make it happen, it'll take some time, I'm gonna make mistakes, but it'll happen, and I'm gonna make it happen. So, get in touch with your childhood and get back to that feeling of being a winner, where you can make anything happen, and you are a winner. So this is Munir, I'm gonna go on some rides, I'm very excited, I'm going back to my childhood. I will see you on the next video. Hello everyone, and welcome to this video which I am filming to you from Dublin over the Liffey River. Basically, a river is like what many of us go through in life, where we are just going with the flow. Just go with the flow, man. However, when you just go with the flow, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are getting to where you need to go or want to go. And I'm on a bridge that's just over this river, which, as we all know, bridges serve as wonderful metaphors. And sometimes it takes us building bridges to get from where we are to where we need to be or where we want to be. And to build that bridge, sometimes we either need to take action or learn how. But the thing is, once you've built a bridge that rises up over that going with the flow, no one can take that bridge away from you, and you can utilize that bridge forever. So I ask you to build your bridge, take action, up your skills, and use that bridge for a lifetime. You can see, and what is the difference there? The same body posture. You don't know what they're saying, but you can see it. Like, if you can see it in these pictures, what makes you think you can't see it when someone across you is in a different body posture, or if they're in the same posture? Look at this. Which of those two are in rapport? Second one. You can read rapport. We all actually can read body language to a certain level. We just don't realize it. Because you knew instinctively which of these two are in rapport. And what is the difference? Alcohol. Let's say that was water. But you can see, and what is the difference there? The same body posture. You don't know what they're saying, but you can see it. Like, if you can see it in these pictures, what makes you think you can't see it when someone across you is in a different body posture, or if they're in the same posture? You notice it at a subconscious level, you just didn't realize you noticed it. And people notice it, and they don't realize they notice it. Is this making sense so far? Is everything that I'm teaching you very easy?
the stuff that I'm teaching you is stuff that you can apply today and moving forward. Is it not? Yes. Okay, great. This shows you that you know what rapport is. So here are the studies. I'm not just making this up. They've actually proven this. So in 2004, there's a guy in Amsterdam called, in Holland, called Van Baren. He conducted an experiment. By the way, these guys, they conduct a lot of experiments where they pretend they experiment something and then they do something else. They get these guys to actually, I think it was assess avatars or something like that, right? So they are getting the person to look at a screen and do a bunch of things. And the examiner would sit sort of across him or next to him, and he'd just copy or do the same body language with half of them. The other half, no, right? You need a control. And then the experimenter would get up and he'd drop all his pens, 10 pens, because he had a pack of pens. And he would wait 10 seconds, the experiment was to wait 10 seconds to see if the person would actually help pick up the pens. And after 10 seconds, then the examiner would bend over and start picking up the pens, okay? They found that when the examiner did the same body language, matched and mirrored, that a person was 2 to 3 times as likely to pick up the pens. At a subconscious level, completely subconscious level. They didn't have that much interaction before. It's not like they exchanged information. It's not like they're, you know, like, hey, tell me about your pets. Nothing. It was just very experimental. Please look at this, da 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 da. And then they just created this subconscious. Many people with experience of hypnosis believe it's the words that you say that take people into a trance. In this video, I show you how I take people who speak no English into hypnosis. This is hypnotic power. I've had a translator that was helping me a moment ago just explain what I'm going to try with Ko. And essentially what I'm going to do is demonstrate the power of body language with someone that doesn't understand English, just to show that language is not necessarily the only form of communication. So, Ko, okay. That's right. That's right. So, hi everyone. In this video, I am going to attempt to hypnotize a bunch of guys from Japan. Yeah. I want to demonstrate hypnosis and non-verbal hypnosis because basically you don't speak English very well, right? Yes. Okay. So you see, so you see what I mean.
1, 2, and 3. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling energy and happiness. Feeling good?
Very good.
Very good?
Very good.
Open your eyes. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. Hello everyone and welcome to this video which I am filming to you from a slightly chilly Dublin. And in this video I want to talk to you a little bit about the persuasion principles. So I am on a street called Henry Street, and why am I here? Well, because I got on the tour bus and the tour guide said that this is one of the most popular shopping streets in Dublin. Now that brings me to the first persuasion principle. When a person is considered someone of authority, then you tend to listen to what he has to say. And that's the same with the tour guide. And the second thing is, there's a crowd developing a little bit behind me, and they are all around some dancers, some guys that are performing in the street. Now, I didn't know that at first, but when you see a crowd of people gather around, then as people, what do we like to do? We like to follow other people's opinions. If other people find it interesting, then we think that we might find it interesting. So, other people's perceptions is very, very powerful. Hi everyone and welcome to this video. In this video I am very, very excited because I have Paul McKenna here with me. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know who Paul is one of the world's greatest hypnotists. He is the best-selling author of a number of books. Change Your Life in 7 Days, I Can Make You Rich, I Can Make You Happy, I Can Make You Sleep. He hasn't written I Can Make You Bigger, but hopefully that's coming. Not that I need it, not that I need it, but I'm actually very excited, Paul, because I have interviewed a number of hypnotists. I've become a bit of a hypnotist myself, but my first experience with hypnosis was your Change Your Life in 7 Days CD.
Yes.
That was so very exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so pleased you liked it.
Yes, yes. And well, so the question I wanted to ask is, you've written a number of books on how people can change their lives and make big differences in their lives.
Yeah.
And as an expert on personal change, what 3 tips would you give to someone that is looking to make a change but isn't sure where to start?
You know, I wrote a book called The 3 Things That Will Change Your Destiny Today. And this came from, I was at a dinner party, and a lady called Karen Brady, who's a fantastic entrepreneur, asked me, what's like the one thing, Paul, the one thing that makes the big difference? And I said, I can't see that there's one thing. But if you push me, I would say you get more of what you focus on in life. I constantly hear from people, they say, oh, I don't want to be overweight, or I don't want to be frightened of small spaces, or I don't want this, don't want that, right? And they're always thinking about what they don't want. And I think you need to think about what you do want. Sure, think about what might go wrong so you can avoid those potential problems. But my friend Michael Neal, who's a famous life coach in America, he says, if you just go and tell a lamppost your plans every day, they're more likely to happen. Now, also, I think it's very important that what you're focusing on comes from your values, because I used to be all about money, success, power, status, that kind of stuff. And I've been living in Los Angeles in Beverly Hills for 10 years, a town of ruthless overachievers, so I was very well suited to it. But I had a change and a shift in my lifestyle. In fact, I'm married, I'm very happy, and I like to live my values every day. So my values are things like, the most important things to us: love, laughter, family, making a positive contribution to the world, loyalty, freedom, those sorts of things. Now, of course, they mean something different to everybody, but if I can tick the box each day going, did I feel loved today? Did I do something positive for the world? Did I laugh, etc.? Then I know that my life is rich, right? Because being rich is more than just having money. A billionaire can afford a better bed than you or I, but can they buy a good night's sleep? No. That's something that I really value, and I sleep well. Yeah. So I've found that a lot of the things that really make me feel rich are the company of good friends, my health, having some purpose. The famous psychiatrist Viktor Frankl said, "Purpose is the cornerstone of good mental health." And I think having a purpose, some people believe in God, some people believe in a higher power, some people don't. I like to think that there is something bigger, greater than me. And one of the things I do sometimes is I go off to near the end of my life, and I look back and I think, what do I wish I'd done more of, and what do I wish I'd done less of? And I go, oh, I wish I'd loved more, laughed more, instead of just been relentlessly competitive. And I'm also worried less, because Mark Twain famously said, I've been through some terrible things in my life, and some of them actually happened, because people at the end of their lives were interviewed as part of a study a few years ago, and they asked them, what do you wish you'd change? What do you wish you could change? He said, we all wish we'd worried less. Yeah. So one of the things you can do, here's another tip, is you can go off to near the end of your life, not at the end, but near, and imagine your life has been fantastic. Imagine it's been amazing. What would have had to have taken place? And I've heard all kinds of things from people. People have said, oh, I spent more time with my family, and because at the moment I'm working so hard and I'm achieving, but what am I going to do, work myself to death and not get to enjoy it with my family? Or they go, what really made it amazing was I didn't have to change the world. All I did was I was a good person, and I did small acts of kindness towards other people. The Dalai Lama says kindness is my religion. But I also like, and I hate to keep using quotes, but they keep coming into my head. Gandhi said, my life is my message. And I think if you think about your life, you think about your values, living them, ticking those boxes every day, imagine floating out to near the end of your life, and imagine your life's been fantastic. What would have had to have taken place? Was it that you achieved certain things in business? Was it that you just touched the lives of people? My favorite movie of all time is It's a Wonderful Life. And in that movie, Jimmy Stewart realizes, only at the end of the movie, how many people's lives he's affected and all the good he's done. And often we don't know that until it's not too late, but later in life. I'm very fortunate in that my parents, my father has passed, but my mother's still with us, and they're very morally decent people, and they passed that on to me. I like to think of myself as a morally good person, and
I hope so too. I listen to your CDs.
Thank you. So, the thing is that I don't want to install my model of happiness in other people. I want you to find out what makes you happy, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel driven, what makes you feel complete as a human being, and help you to achieve that. I talked with Tony Robbins about this the other day, and he said, what I do is I find out where somebody is, where they want to be, how they're going to get there. And so if you basically, if you figure out your values, go off into the future, maybe just start with a year in the future, and maybe imagine you've had the best year ever. And you look back and you think, if that's true, if I've had my best year ever, what has happened in my health? What must be true in my finances? What must have happened in my spiritual life? What must have happened in my relationships, personal and professional, etc. And then what you're doing is you're focusing more upon what it is you want and not on what you don't.
That's excellent.
Thank you.
Well, as someone that loves contribution and touching people's lives, I hope this video touches a lot of people's lives. And I am very grateful for you coming on today. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless.
Hopefully we'll see you in the Middle East sometime.
Oh yes, I'm planning to come back soon. I love the Middle East. God bless. Shukran.
Can you just say something for me? I just
Hello,
checked
Mary had a little lamb, she'll say.
Perfect. She did have a great lamb, actually. Hi everyone, and welcome to this video which I'm filming to you in Jaipur in India, and today I have the extreme honor and pleasure to be joined by Mr. Arfin Khan.
Hey, how you doing?
And Arfin is a speaker, an author and an entrepreneur. He's worked with some of Bollywood's biggest celebrities and industrialists, but most importantly he's worked with over 600,000 people to help them really make long-term changes in their lives.
Absolutely.
I'm very passionate about influence and persuasion, and influence and persuasion doesn't necessarily just relate to influencing and persuading other people, but it also relates to yourself. So, Arfin, could you just tell us a little bit more about how you get people to persuade themselves to make long-term changes?
First of all, it's very common that people often relate influence and persuasion to others.
Yeah.
They think, if I learn influence and persuasion, I'm going to impact people.
Yes.
But the truth is, it impacts you more than anyone else. Yeah. Because what we do all day long, we influence and persuade ourselves to take action.
Yeah.
And we're always thinking about methodologies of how we can go towards something.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. So let's say that, I'm having a conversation with you. And as I'm having this conversation with you, I want to also make myself feel very powerful.
Yeah.
In order for me to be able to do that so that I can influence you, it means I need to be able to be in a certain state all the time. Right? I have to use my hand gestures towards me or away from me to make my mind believe I'm good. So if I say, for example, I'm a powerful person, or I'm going to do a powerful strategy, even though I'm trying to influence you to think I'm powerful, my brain is going to say, wow, this guy actually thinks he's powerful. Wow. So what that does, it has to inspire your mind to actually take bigger actions. So even the words you use, for example. If I want to use a word to describe something, and I use words that will create a certain emotion, it will influence me to take certain actions. So if I say, I've had a good day.
Yeah.
If I say, I've had an extraordinary day. So if I say extraordinary, my brain has to believe that I need to be an extraordinary person to have an extraordinary day. So I don't know if you kind of get the concept I'm saying.
Completely.
Why not first influence your mind or persuade your mind to be the person you want to be?
Yeah.
And then when you take actions, the brain will find the right resources in order for you to take action.
Exactly, because your emotions are connected to your body and what you say.
Yeah, because you are what you say, right?
Yeah.
And if I try to do a fake influence on you, like, I'm going to try to influence this guy, but a little voice is saying, oh, come on,
Yeah.
And what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what? You can actually do a mind hack or a mind trick where you can say things where the brain doesn't really know whether it's real or not. So if I'm weak and I'm not feeling a bit unsure, I can actually use certain words, the kind of stuff that you do.
Yeah.
Right? Use certain words of persuasion, certain words of influence that you may use on others to actually trick your brain into believing that you're good. I'll just give you a quick example.
Yeah, please.
If I'm not well and I'm feeling a little low, I can actually trick my brain into influencing it that I'm actually well.
Yeah.
So the recovery rate will go down from say 2 days to 2 hours. That's how you can influence yourself.
Okay.
You can walk into a meeting and influence yourself to produce an outcome before the outcome is done. So when you go there, your brain actually thinks, oh, this is funny. I've been here before.
Yes.
I've got this outcome before. So this should be easy.
Yes.
So influence and persuasion is crazy for an individual.
It's similar to sort of a future memory, is that
It's a
right?
future memory.
Exactly.
So the brain has the ability to foresee.
Yes.
So when you don't take action, it's because the brain sees fear or pain.
Yeah.
So what if you did take that action and it produces the results? You could actually influence your thoughts or your actions into remodeling that future memory or that future thought into a future thought of pleasure rather than pain. So personal influence, that's probably a really good subject to really go into.
Yeah, personal
influence, how to influence the self. Now it's not like an NLP or any other kind of influence, it's about more identifying that little conversation in your head to persuade it to be someone it's not.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, look, I thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your insights. And I look forward to seeing you personally influence a number of people in their lives.
And your viewers must get a chance to go and check my arfinkhan.com out.
Yes,
it'll give them a good opportunity to see the kind of stuff I do. I don't do influence and persuasion. You're the master of that, so I'm sure they'll get more information from you.
But I thank you very much for
Thanks,
everything, and look forward to seeing you
Great job.
soon. Yeah, cheers.